What's up, y'all? This is Rom Wills back at you with yet another car video. Women use adjectives to rate men. And I shouldn't even say rate men. They use adjectives to describe men, right? I'm going to put it that. That's what I'm going to call this joint, right? Because they don't really rate men. Yeah, and you know what inspired this? You know, because I get videos from like years ago that people comment on, and somebody was spamming the comments of somebody. And just as an aside, if you spam, it goes to our spam folder, and we can decide whether or not to let you in there. I just blocked the dude of questionable sexual orientation. Because he was going through, well, it was a male name anyway, going through talking about, hey, you nothing but a six. Because some guys were commenting on their own looks. And he was like, you nothing but a six. You nothing but a six. You know, and first of all, this is a heterosexual channel. And second of all, the reality is men cannot rate another man for the simple reason they don't have a vagina. Now, you can look at them and you can say, okay, I've seen guys that look like this generally get women. And, you know, we could pull out scientific studies and all of that. But a man really can't rate another man. It's a exercise in futility. Because, one, I was talking with a young lady friend last night, right? Well, yesterday, and I mentioned that incident to her, and she was saying, you know, women don't really use the 1 to 10 scale. And I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, they really don't. They really don't. Even times when I've seen, you know, some scale that's supposedly rating men, it was always created by a man. And they were saying, well, this guy's handsome and this guy's this and that. And the reality is women don't look at it like in that like logical, rational way, like a 1 to 10 thing. They'll look at a guy and say, oh, he cute, or he built, or they'll talk about his complexion. It's like, oh, Mr. Long Hair, or, you know, the body. I remember when I was younger, I was called the body, or, you know, the eyes, or something like that. Because women are very holistic in how they look at a man. They don't just look at one thing. See, guys be thinking this. In fact, you got websites or channels and people talking about, hey, telling other guys their rate. And I'm like, why are you asking another man? Like, I would never ask another man. Because, like, one time, right, I remember I said in a video, I said, oh, yeah, always get attention from plenty of dimes easy, right? And it was a dude who got on there and said, well, I don't see it. You can't get it. I think you playing right. And I was like, you got a vagina? Plus, they don't know what they looking at. Because there is one thing they look at, I don't say much. I actually just said it, too. Okay, dude. Yeah. Like, I get a lot of women actually like my eyes. That's like my most, no matter what my weight is, body is, or whatever, the women be like, hey, you got nice eyes. Sometimes that's all you need. You know, women go crazy. They like your eyes and stuff. Dude had nothing but else eyes. Everything jacked up. Eyes look nice. They'd be like, oh. I'll let a woman explain why that is. But, you know, because that's one of the things. Some guys be trying to figure out, like, they'll look at some guys like, why is she with him? I look better than him. Maybe not to that woman. Because women, you understand something. When women look at a man, they're not just using their eyes. They use their eyes, but not just their eyes. Like a man will look at a woman and pretty much be using his eyes. Pretty much. She either pretty or not. You know, rating her from like 1 to 10 or something, right? A few men might use their dicks too. Like, oh, she get me a dick hard or something. Or that boner test. But it's not always the same thing. Women, on the other hand, when they're looking at a man, they using their eyes, but they're also using their vagina. So a guy might look average to everybody else, even other men, even some other women, but to that particular woman, he looks, you know, he's fine. He's sexy fine, you know. In fact, there's a lot of dudes who think they ugly to women and stuff. They'll say it, and other guys might say that they ugly, but the women like, he fine. Because I've had women do that. They'll look at a guy and say, he fine. They going crazy over him. and they looking at something, and it's really useless for a man to try to do that. But of course, you know, you get men who try. Like I said, some of them try to be sincere, depending on it. But you can't really tell the same thing. Because I remember some young dude was like, well, how would you rate my looks, Ron? And I said, I can't rate your looks. I ain't a woman. So the most I can do is look at you and say, okay, can I think of somebody else who looks similar to you who's getting pussy? And I said, well, okay, I can think of one person. So that's all I can do. Even with the body game and stuff, you'd be surprised with some women. Even with the body game. Because they'll look at somebody, you thinking they average, and the woman like, yeah, he got the perfect body. It really is. It really is. And in fact, to the point, I got to go back on something I've said before. Because I've always said, you know, like the Mr. Goodbar types are average looking, but I can't really say what a woman would say. Because I was talking with my young friend, we were talking about a particular actor, I ain't gonna say the name, and I was thinking, oh yeah, he average looking. She was like, oh no, he's sexy fine. I'm like, oh, okay. Wow. So we don't know. And it's a waste of time just for fellas. Don't worry about it. First of all. One, don't worry about it. Two, don't take it seriously if another man says you look this or that. Just ask him straight up, oh, is your vagina wet right now? Seriously, hit him with that shit. Just straight up question him. Just look him in the eye. If he in front of you, question everything if he gonna say that. Because you can't tell. You know? You can't tell. You can get a general idea. You can you know, you can say, okay, if his haircut fucked up or something. Because that's kind of more objective. Or dude got obvious dirt on shit on his face or something. Yeah, you can say that. As objective as possible. But even then, you don't know. I still remember what something I told y'all a lot of times. This one guy, because it just stood out like that. This guy that was in a club, Zanzibar, just standing there. Dude was just tall and like a slim muscular, but he had pockmarked face. But women were still going crazy over him. Like they were throwing it at him. Like, shh. So much so, dudes were coming in the next week trying to dress and staying just like him. And they didn't have pockmarked face and still didn't get it. Because that's the thing with women. You just never know what they see, what they're looking at. You know, it's not a number. It's like they look at a guy and it's like, oh, well, he's this or he's that. Whatever. You know, you just never know. Like one dude said one time, he actually, you know, picked that up too. He was like, you know, woman could see a guy with one tooth in his mouth and that'd be the sexiest thing she ever seen. I actually knew a guy. He was tearing up some women, but his whole upper bridge was non-existent. The whole thing. Yet he couldn't get rid of women. He couldn't get rid of women. It was like, damn, dude. Now, some other women were probably like, nah, but, you know, it depends on the woman, what she looking for, what she think of as attractive. Shoot. You just never know. And, you know, for a guy to go through and try to do that or come on anything, like I said, in some cases, it can be suspect. Like I said, if it's more objective, like, I don't know, it's hard to say the objective shit. It can be, as long as it's limited, if somebody's going to comment like that. But if somebody's like a little too hard on it, or you got some of these, like, channels and stuff, these dudes, I mean, they breaking it down, measuring and all of that, and I'm like, you still don't know what's getting a woman, huh? You still don't know, because the woman, shoot, she might not even look at the face or whatever. She might just see the print and be like, oh yeah, he all right, or he fine. That's just how it is, y'all. I wanted to say that because, you know, it really comes down to, dudes got to remember, women just think differently. You know, even when we talk about this whole select, non-select thing, I mean, you got some cats out here talking about, oh yeah, well, we're going to replace the select and everything. Women decide who's select and non-select, man. Because they the ones making the choice. People can get mad about that, but they the ones decide who's attractive and who's not. Trying to say we do it, that's the equivalent of a bunch of overweight, out of shape, ugly, poor disposition women coming up saying we dimes. We'll laugh the fuck out of them. We will laugh the fuck out of them. Ain't no guy gonna call that woman a 10. So it's the same thing when women looking. It's up to them. Women can tell us, they can tell us how fine they are or whether than that, but if we ain't looking at them and seeing them, boom. So, anyway, yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. Just wanted to bring that up because it's funny. It's weird. It really does weird me out. Like, a lot of men gotta stop. Yeah, that can be suspect in some cases doing that, unless you're a professional and that's part of your job. But it can be suspect in other cases because you just do not know what a woman sees. And I've seen that a lot. I've seen that a lot. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace.